Hey everybody, my name is Wyatt and I'm Ferda Tunes, and today we are finally starting the year-end list videos. I've been waiting to do these since I started it, and I'm so fucking excited to get into it. I'll be doing the singles of the year, the albums of the year, but I really wanted to start with this one, the hardest songs of the year. This is by no means the best songs of the year. I don't want to imply that whatsoever. This list is specifically for songs that were released anytime this year that go hard. I don't think I need to explain too much, or at least I hope I don't, as to what I mean by that. Bottom line, basically, if there's a strong aspect or multiple strong aspects of a song that make you just sit and think like, oh my god, that's hard. I focused on including mostly songs from genres like hip-hop, pop music, and electronic music, rather than just kind of overflowing the whole list with like metal songs. Because just by sheer definition of the genre, and with so many great albums from that genre coming out this year, I would definitely just overflow the list with it. And I definitely end up pushing back so many of the songs that are on this list so that I think just deserve the recognition for just, like I keep saying, going so fucking hard. So I'm starting with the top 30. The next few videos are going to be higher numbers, especially the singles and the albums of the list here. But before we get really into it, obviously I have some honorable mentions that I just want to list through. Can't forget about those. Now I'm just going to run through the first half of the list pretty quickly. I don't want to spend too much time and make these videos like an hour and a half long or some shit. So starting the list off at number 30, I got Sly Green by Benny the Butcher. This album didn't blow me away in the way I hoped it would, but there's definitely some highlights. I feel the exact same way about the track number 29, High Tech Tech, off of Future's album High Off Life. Number 28, we got Giant Slide by Boldy James and The Alchemist. Number 27, we got The Scots, a very psychedelic, hard-hitting collab from Kid Cudi and Travis Scott. Need more from them. At number 6, we got GTA by King Von, rest in peace. At number 25, I got Mamma Mia by Lil Wayne. I don't think this is a very popular pick, but god, that track was disgusting. I loved everything about it. Definitely probably my favorite Wayne verses from this year. At number 24, we got Gray Area by 2 Chainz. Just a goofy and just so disgustingly hard trap song from 2 Chainz. Number 23, we got Shots Fired by Megan Thee Stallion. I couldn't deny, man, that shit was hard. She really went at Tori and just bodied everything people were saying about her this year. Number 22 is R&B by Young Dolph featuring Megan Thee Stallion. One of my favorite verses from her this year, but also just such a hit, such an underrated hit from this year. So hard. Number 21 is Silly Watch by Lil Uzi. Fuck, I couldn't deny this song was just so boppy, catchy, and like I keep saying, hard-hitting. The pianos,
yeah, she caramel, but I call that bitch butterscotch. Dog fire, yeah, they chopping every day. My birthday, why the confetti stop? She look good.
Number 20 is Check the Lock by Clipping. I did a video diving into Clipping's album this year, and I was just so blown away with just how disgusting and horrific and hard it all is. Number 19 was a pretty interesting pick, but I just couldn't help it. Can't Do It Good, Do It Hard by Against All Logic. I just
can't do it good, do it hard. Can't do it.
Number 18, I got Cane Train by Machinedrum featuring Freddie Gibbs. Such an underrated track, especially with Freddie being on it. Just such a huge, shining banger. Number 17 is Drillorama by Armani Caesar featuring Benny the Butcher. You know, I had to pick at least one song from each Griselda member on this list. How the fuck could I not? Number 16 is Best Group, the intro off of Juicy J's most recent album. Just a super braggadocious and hard-hitting banger from the legend. Next up, at number 15, is Sister Blade by Zora Jones. Another electronic track that I just can't deny is just so shockingly hard-hitting. The hi-hat and just all the percussion rolls, especially in the latter half of the track, is just immensely, just abrasive and fast and hard. Number 14 is Jealous, the intro track off of YG's most recent album. Another album I wasn't really blown away with, but god damn, that intro, he just came for the neck. Number 13 was a bit of an oddball choice, but Pink Diamond by Charli XCX, the intro off of her album this year. Good Christ, like what the fuck was this song? Again, the abrasiveness, the production, even the hook, I just wanna go real high, I just wanna go. Just so loud and just grabs your ears and rips them the fuck off. Number 12 is Ghost of Soulja Slim, Jay Electronica, and Jay-Z. What a fucking duo. Number 11 is Awake by TKAY Maidza featuring JPEG Mafia. You toss this on in the car, man. You just want to fucking hit somebody. The top 10, starting with Get Back by Pop Smoke. Of course, I had to mention Pop Smoke. His music is so hard majority of the time. And there were so many songs that I could have picked, but I don't know why this one just kept sticking out to me for just being so short and just bringing so much hype so quickly. It just brings that slight eeriness that he usually has to his songs, but there's just this progressive build-up and then this... Love it to death, and just wish he was still here to give us more of that, man. Number 9 is Slidin' by 21 Savage and Metro Boomin. They definitely deliver some real quality heat this year, but god damn. I really love when producers match 21 Savage's style, and I feel like that's when his music really works for me. Cause I'm not huge on him, but when there's just that super eerie, nightmarish, horror movie sounding beat underneath him, it usually works out really well, and this was a full-on knock out of the park. 21's hook and his verses, really, everything he does on this track is just extremely menacing and sticky, and again, that beat just sounds like it's from a horror movie and just knocks. I couldn't go on a late night drive without putting this one on this year. Track 8 is Pockets Bigger by Flo Milli. She had a lot of hard-hitting slaps on her debut this year, but this one just goes easily the hardest for me. It was kind of a no-brainer. I know I was gonna pick something off that tape, but this one just honestly, just listen to the first 10 seconds of the song and you will know exactly what the fuck I mean. It's a short and sweet one too, but it just hits so fucking well.
Flo Milli shit. How? You bitches Flo Milli shit.
Number 7, Good Morning. Black Thought, Swizz Beatz, Pusha T, Killer Mike. How the fuck could they have not made something so goddamn hard? And this whole alarm or kind of siren driven beat is just, sounds like the fucking apocalypse is happening around you. And everything else brought to the track just adds hype to it. And their verses were all killer, of course. This was an undeniable one. Easy pick for me. Number 6 is a big one for me. Bigger Picture by Lil Baby. I haven't been a fan of Lil Baby really much at all. Not knocking him or hating him at all. It's just not really my thing. But god damn, this song impressed me, and I was just so blown away when I first heard it. He really showed us the versatility and ambition that his pen needs for me. But throughout this song, as smooth as it all is, of course with that hard-hitting beat, the subject matter and the lyrics hit just as hard, if not harder. He just hit so many key notes and just great points throughout the song while just keeping it so focused on the unfortunate racism just bred into America, really. Just won't get too deep into it, but just easily one of the most important singles of the year, I think, just on subject matter alone. You guys will see in my singles of the year, this is definitely making it. Starting with the top 5, I had a bit of a 4 or maybe a 5-way tie, but I ended up going with 98 Sabres by Westside Gunn. There's like 4 or 5 Westside Gunn tracks I could have picked, and I literally had 4 of them written out, and I was just deciding between these 4 here, but I ended up just going with 98 Sabres because that Just Blaze beat is just so evil and in your face and menacing. And of course, Westside Gunn, Conway, and Benny are on most of these tracks, and they all kill it every single time, but Armani Caesar being on 98 Sabres and just having probably the most impressive verse on the song for me just gave it that edge, and just, again, the explosiveness of the track is just something that you don't usually find from Griselda, just being super in your face and loud and just banging. But when they do, man, it's good. So shout out to Butcher and the Blade, Eurostep, George Bondo, and of course 98 Sabres, the one I picked, but really this spot could go to any one of those. At the number 4 spot, I picked Walking in the Snow by Run the Jewels. A lot of songs off their album could have made this exact spot, same with Westside Gunn, but this was the easy pick for me. A lot of songs on that album sound just so crushingly dystopian and almost industrial at times, and the progressive beat on this one is no exception, and it goes so hard, and I feel like there's some sort of Memphis twist to it, especially with Gangsta Boo doing the hook, which kills it. But what really stole the show and made this such a high spot for me was Killer Mike's verse. This is another song very wrapped around in the whole racism of America and being fed up with it kind of thing. You know, there was a lot of songs like that earlier this year, as I believe there should be. And Run the Jewels covered that a ton throughout this album, but I really think it can all be boiled down into this verse, if it had to be, obviously. But goddamn, just an unbelievable in-your-face verse with just truth bombs everywhere and just hard-hitting lines and even things that are just so poetically harsh and so many lines that are just so hard-hitting, but to the point where anyone can really feel it. Like, he really puts it in a very accessible but still mind-blowing way. I just wanted to expand upon that really quick, because what I meant is a lot of the bars Killer Mike says should resonate with everyone at least a little bit, or at the very least open your eyes to what he's talking about. He lays it out painfully clearly, and I just think it's a verse everyone needs to hear, especially after the unbelievably terrible things that happened throughout this year with regards to racism and police brutality, etc. Seriously, it might be my verse of the year. If I was doing that list, I kind of wish I did now, I think that would definitely make it. Moving on to number 3, you guys knew she was coming. Oh, for real, Rico Nasty. How could I not? Like, seriously, I think the hardest song on her album, one of the hardest hitting singles, just period, throughout this year, obviously. And it made it so high for Dylan Brady's production just being so off-kilter and noisy and hard-hitting. But also, of course, with Rico's just non-stop aggressiveness and just abrasive delivery. This is the stuff I love from Rico, and I couldn't help but just fall so deep in love with this song as soon as I heard the snippet before it was even released, really. I did a first reaction video to this song specifically before I even did one for the album, so you can check those both out if you want. I'll toss them right up. Number 2 and number 1 I had picked for a good few months at least, and they just haven't moved from those spots. Number 2, Frank Lucas by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist featuring Benny the Butcher. Good heavens! I couldn't help but just give this one an extremely high spot. Ever since it came out, I just felt like it was perfectly hard-hitting. Everything about the track, it's damn near perfect, and it honestly might be one of the hardest rap songs, grittiest that I've ever heard. I don't know. Gibbs and Benny, I shouldn't even have to say, they went hard. Their verses killed it. It's fire, obviously. But I think this is one of Alchemist's hardest beats this year, and maybe even one of his best, which is really saying something. I seriously wouldn't miss this one if you just want gritty, I guess, coke rap. It's so hard-hitting. It's really, you cannot miss this one. Number 1! Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, Westside Gunn, Griselda, Spurs 3. How the fuck? This song is ridiculous. Seriously, Frank Lucas was my number 1 for a while, and then Conway released that one of the best rap albums of the year. I think that's undeniable. But Spurs 3, oh my god. It's almost like Frank Lucas just with Griselda and just an even more in-your-face beat. The beat has these like disorienting, I don't know if they're bells or something, just comes in with the... And oh my god, like obviously they go hard on their verses, they're Griselda, but I don't have too much to say about this track. I didn't even write anything down. I just knew it was my number 1 spot, and it was by far the hardest hitting song of the year. For real, every time I tossed that on, as soon as that beat hit, and as soon as Westside Gunn's verse came in, it almost felt effortless from them, but it still just came out as such a mwah, mwah. There was no other track that honestly came close. It was just a pretty easy number 1 pick for me. After I heard the song like 3 times, I think I was like, yeah, that's the one. And that's about it. I hope I didn't miss too many. If not, just let me know what you think your hardest song of the year is in the comments. I don't know why, I just thought this would be an interesting one to do because I just started making the list out of nowhere, and I do love some hard-hitting bangers, man. Who the fuck doesn't? But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do not miss my upcoming year-end list videos. That album of the year list video is gonna be it's a big one. It's a big one. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me just...
Look, detectives combing through the hood looking for. I had an outstanding
Yo, it's fucked.
I said you 40 short. My niggas dropping bodies.